Somewhere, far away, an ancient phoenix dies. Its wings split the sky. Its scream cracks the mountains. Then silence. Ash swirls. Embers scatter. And the world holds its breath. A single feather drifts. Across forests, deserts, oceans. Until it lands. Here, on this scorched patch of earth. That's you. You wake screaming. The sky flashes white. Birds combust in the air. The ground splits beneath you. Not because you're angry, but because you exist. You're an uncontrolled detonation with wings. A forest catches fire before you even stand. A river evaporates trying to soothe you. You try to dim. You try to shrink yourself into something harmless. But your breath cracks boulders. You look at a butterfly. It ignites mid-flap. You try to sit on a rock. It cracks from thermal shock. Your heartbeat warps gravity. Even your shadow burns. You think this is what life is. Destroy everything before it leaves you. Everything runs. Goat, deer, frog. And then a creature doesn't run. She approaches. Small, soft, glowing, just a little, like moonlight caught in a snowflake. A moon rabbit. Her fur singes, but she stays. Her nose twitches. She sits. Right there. In the blast radius. You freeze in confusion. You panic. Try to flare your feathers. Singes its whiskers. She giggles. You roar, a warning. She gives you a wilted flower. You scream, fire licking the sky. She laughs and thinks it sounds like singing. You try to flee. She follows. You don't sleep. Not really. But you sit there for hours, afraid to move, afraid that if you do, this weird little idiot will vanish like everything else. She doesn't. She builds you a nest. From rocks. From burnt twigs. From whatever the fire didn't erase. Every night, she flops beside you and watches the stars. Every morning, she hops off, returns with moss, lays it at your feet like a gift. You grow. Wider wings. Brighter fire. Louder silence. So does she. You don't know when it stops being strange that she's alive. You learn to control the flame. Mostly, she learns what makes you laugh, like when she bonks her head on a melon just to hear you chirp. She weaves star-shaped stones into your scorched nest. She invents games, names your feathers, pretends your smoke is a lullaby. You flare. She giggles. You mumble in sparks. She hums back. You boil lakes into hot springs. She bathes in them, giggling. You burn a tree. She paints faces in the charcoal. But her favorite thing is flying. She climbs on your back, buries her paws in your feathers, and squeals as you tear across the sky. She calls it moon chasing. You call it sky tag, but cooler. The world finally feels livable, because she's in it. Every night, you curl around her like a heat lamp with wings. She hums lullabies you've never heard, but somehow remember. Years pass. You don't notice at first. Why would you? She carves notches in stone for every comet you race. Paints moons on bark for every storm you sleep through. She grows obsessed with anniversaries. First laugh, first flight. The day you accidentally burned her tail and spent a week bringing her carrots. She grows taller, then slower. Her hops turn to walks. Her sprints turn to size. She asks to fly more often, even when she's tired. Especially when she's tired. You notice the weight change. The way she grips your feathers tighter. How she leans into your spine like she's afraid of falling, even though you've never dropped her once. She sleeps longer. Her hops lose height. Her laugh becomes breathy. You think it's the cold. You try to burn brighter. It makes her flinch. You never needed sleep, but now you pretend to, just to hear her whisper stories into the dark. Until one night, her voice cracks mid-sentence. She coughs, apologizes. You fly higher, hoping altitude will scare death off. You fly faster, hoping motion will rewind it. But she just clings tighter, smiling like she knows something you don't. The nest changes. She adds fewer stones, stops naming your feathers, forgets the rules to her games. One day, you notice, the moss she brings back isn't fresh. The next, she forgets to bring any. The next, she doesn't leave at all. You breathe fire for warmth. She shivers away. You heat the earth. She sneezes blood. You start flying alone. You hate it, but you keep doing it, so she can rest. When you return, she's waiting, but smaller, but quieter, but trying. One night, she doesn't say moon chasing. She just climbs onto your back, buries herself in your feathers, and whispers, just once more. Please. You don't fly. You soar. You burn the sky so bright, stars look away. You tear through galaxies. You scream the wind into silence. You want the cosmos to know this mattered. She mattered. She laughs. Weakly. You dip. She curls tighter. You land. Carefully. She slides off. Kneels. Breathless. She says your name, not with sound, but with a look. And then, it's okay. I gotta see the stars. With you. She curls up. Like always. Next to your flame. Like always. And then she stops moving. Not like always. You don't understand it. You roar. You cry. But she doesn't wake up. She doesn't giggle. She doesn't hum. You wait. 1 day. 2. A week. You don't move. She stays cold. You curl around her one last time. Not to warm her, but to shield her. From the wind. From time. From the part of you that wants to break everything. You hum. Quietly. The lullaby she used to hum when you pretended to sleep. And when the sun rises, you fly. That's all you do now. Everywhere reminds you of her. The hot springs. The comet paths. The burnt tree with her painted charcoal face. You pass over them like a ghost. You don't stop. You don't land. You fly until the stars blur. Until the clouds stop trying to follow. Until the earth forgets your shadow. Until the grief burns quieter than the flame. Once, you were a torch. Now you're a ghost with wings. The world starts calling you a myth again. A rumor. A cautionary tale. They say the phoenix stopped burning. They're wrong. You're still on fire. You just keep it inside, where no one can see it. Where it can't hurt anything. Until one day you fall. Mid-flight. No warning. No cause. Your wings give out. You plummet in silence. A streak of ash and regret across a pale sky. You hit the earth hard. Bones break. Fire doesn't come. And for the first time in centuries, you realize something terrifying. You're not afraid to die. You're afraid to live again. Because it might mean remembering her. But you do. You burn. Alone. Quietly. The fire comes late. Like it didn't want to. Like even rebirth is grieving. You rise. Ash-stained. Dimmer. You land. Not to rest, just to stop moving. She finds you by accident. A young cloud serpent. Curious. Soft. Too new to be scared. You flare. She blinks. You growl. She curls up beside you. You should leave. You don't. She talks. Asks if the star-shaped stones in your nest were always there. You say they just showed up. She doesn't press, just hums and watches the sky. And you let her. You fly together. Quietly. No games. No names. She names a comet after you. You don't stop her. But the pattern returns. Slower flights. Shorter laughs. She coughs. Then fades. One day, she whispers. Just once more. You fly until the clouds disappear. She dies mid-descent, head against your flame. No screams. No storms. Just stillness. You curl around her. You don't cry. Phoenixes don't cry. But your flame dims anyway. You don't rise right away. You lie in your own ash. Still. Heavy. Not broken. Just full. Your nest is silent. The rocks she stacked have crumbled. The stars she named don't blink anymore. You remember the rabbit's laugh when you first tried to fly. You remember the serpent's breath hitching when she couldn't. 2 friends. 2 graves. One still warm spot in your chest that won't cool. When the flame returns, it doesn't roar. It sighs. You rise slowly. Wings smaller. Fire quieter. The sky doesn't cheer. It watches. You don't call this rebirth. Just continuation. You fly. And when you land near both their resting places. Not out of habit, out of need. You hum their lullabies. A blend of 2 lives. A sound only you remember. You don't avoid memories anymore. You perch in the places they loved. You wait. Not for resurrection. For peace. And just when the wind feels colder than it should, you hear something. Soft. Small. Curious. A paw crunches leaves. A creature, strange and glowing, peeks from the trees. Young. Wide-eyed. A little nervous. You don't roar. You don't burn. You just lower your wings and wait. Let them decide. You're not ready to love again, but you're ready to try.